So, continuing with these same four examples, what are things we can animate that are not just joints? Um, so I have a few different examples here. One is the face. So we looked briefly at this one and being able to change it to, maybe a little bit angrier. So you can use the replacements example that we did earlier and replace things. It doesn't have to be moving pieces like this, although you can use moving pieces. I think most of my examples here actually do exactly that, which is a little shame on me for not having a little bit more difference. But these are all pieces that can be articulated. It does take a little bit of time. There we go. Oh, I need to fix the upper eyebrow. But these are different ways you can animate things. Is either moving pieces around to change the expression or changing out an expression. So you could there we go. We could sub that out entirely for come on. Sometimes moving tiny bits can be difficult. There you go. Completely different character just by changing the mouth and getting rid of those little happy upper eyebrows. So we did the replacements thing earlier, and that's where you can swap out one thing for another pretty easily. So that is something you can do. You can also do it with stuff like hands. Now that we have parenting, you can parent this sword to this hand and everything else, or you can create a hand that has a sword and a hand that doesn't. And so then they can drop the sword, and in that way the sword will always be in the hand until it isn't, and you would just have two different library items. One is hand with, the sword, and one is hand without. So keep in mind that you can have props come in and out pretty easily. In terms of this character, by the way, I believe this is set up for animation. Wiggle, wiggle. And maybe even, yep. So you can have different little pieces on the characters move as well. There's props over here. These functioned as this character's ears or antenna almost. Oh, nope. Wrong button. And then with this character, it's the only slightest version of it, but there's a light right here. And you could add a glow effect to that light, or you could change the color of the light. There's a lot of things that are animatable. This is not animatable right here. This, like, oh, it's green, it's blue. No. We can't change it there. But remember, if anything is a movie clip, come on. There we go. If anything is a movie clip, you can put a tint on it. So you can change its color. Accidentally put that in front of the other piece, so it lost a little light bulb detail. The other thing that you can do once something is a movie clip is add filters. And we have some down here. That's how the characters actually, or I thought they were. Oh no, it's just actually just, yeah, it is. Okay. So the way they got this interior fancy gradient looking thing is actually a glow filter with a whole lot of blur on it. So the shape started like this. You had a glow, but he didn't like this kind of up here, so then he took the blur and put it on there. And he did that for all of the pieces. Yep, all of the pieces. Alright, so, and you can animate that as well. You can animate the amount of blur and glow on this. So you can have it, that's too much, but you can have it kind of pulsate. And it would be much smoother than what you're seeing here. I'm turning things on and off live. You can have any kind of blinking, any kind of appearing and disappearing. Lots and lots of options besides just your standard joint chain. So keep all of that in mind as you're working. You have lots of different options. Also keep in mind though that we have 2 weeks to work on this midterm, and then we have like several weeks where we're doing animation exercises, and then you'll have a little bit of time to animate with the character. You won't have multiple weeks to work the character. So like pick a thing. You don't have to have all the bells and whistles. You don't, if you're making a robot, don't expect to have time to animate, a sine wave over here and blinking lights over here and a whole panel over here. No, no, no. Like maybe just a single light bulb is okay. You don't need to make all the expressions right now. Make the base part of your character and then be prepared for when I say, okay, but you don't have a lot you can move on your character. Maybe consider other facial expressions, right? So lots and lots of different options beyond the hinge joints.